Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your December reading. This will be for all Capricorn placements in your birth chart. Cross watchers, you are welcome here. So we're going to dive right in. If you're new to my channel, the way that I do these timeless general readings is we talk a little bit about astrology, some channeled guidance from me to you, and also pull some cards. And the love reading is below. You versus them style. And if love shows up here, all the better, right? So let's get right into it. So when I first went to sit with your energy, which I do for all the signs, usually there's a lot, especially lately with Mercury retrograde. There's been a lot of just messages coming through that sometimes it can almost feel hard for me to decipher them. But for you, it was very calm. And so I sat for a minute and I was like, okay, just sit with it. Maybe there's things that you're like, well, I just got to sit with this one. I got to sit this one out for some of you. You have this, second house for this Aquarius energy. Right now we have Pluto conjunct Venus until the beginning of January. And just so you know, your birthday's right around the corner, and you will be first for the January readings, okay? So kind of get a bonus reading, right? And we'll talk more about astrological shifts in the January reading. But we all know Pluto in Aquarius isn't going anywhere. So Venus in Aquarius is just conjunct. So it's creating this a bit of tension with Mars retrograde, and we'll talk more about what that means for you. It's about equanimity with Aquarius, and Aquarius is your neighbor. Neighboring signs are really good to get to know. Maybe you know some in your life. You know that for you would be Aquarius and Sagittarius, okay? We are in Sag season, so this is a great time for you as well to study up, especially with Saturn and Pisces in your third house. This is all about Gemini, studying, forever student, right? That's Sag's opposite. But back to Aquarius. So, you know, we had this handoff, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you like my style, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. But if you're returning, we've been talking about this, you know, the handing off of Pluto and Capricorn. It's been quite a journey for Capricorn. And, you know, it takes a bit to settle. Even if you're like, whew, thank God. For some of you, you're just like awaiting this moment. But at the same time, I'm getting reminded of, like, again, the nostalgic energy that came up for you the last couple of months is, although it's kind of sweet, it's bittersweet, because there's lots of memories. There's lots of change that's already occurred for you. And, you know, with this new Pluto and Aquarius energy, and now Venus is conjunct it for this period of time, it gives us this kind of Lilith feeling of, again, what else is there to dig up here? And for you especially, if you don't know your Lilith placement, look into that. I also have a Chiron series that I did for Sag season. I have Aries, natal Chiron through Cancer. You can find all those playlists below, helpful links, all that good stuff. For you, it's like, what's next? Maybe this is why you're kind of in this very quiet energy, because maybe there's a lot brewing within you with Mars and Leo retrograde in your 8th house. This is Pluto energy. This is Scorpio. So it's like, you know, just because Pluto left Capricorn, now you have this Mars retrograde in Leo highlighting your 8th house. So there's still some old tensions and conflicts that might be arising for you, especially with a retrograde in a fire sign. For earth and water, it's going to be a bit more rough. Right? And again, it's all perspective. It's nothing that you can't necessarily handle. All of this is divinely orchestrated. So when people start to blame the planets, I'm like, listen, okay? You got to take accountability. And this is actually to benefit you. Astrology and tarot, this is all to provide insight, awareness, right? Spiritual growth. That's really what it should be about, right? It's not here to create fear or to make you feel oppressed, especially with this Aquarius energy. It's very much about equanimity. And Lilith, like I said, is all about getting out of the oppressed feminine aspects of who you are. Whether you're male or female, you have feminine energy within you. We innately have both. So you might be kind of checking your energy levels, especially if you're feeling very quiet. Whatever old tensions or conflicts might be stirring up for you still. And Saturn, again, and Neptune and Pisces is now direct. It's in your third house. So it's you're getting really close, or spirit is guiding you to get really close to your shadow, get closer to your fears. What else is coming up, right? And it might feel like, oh my God, what's next? But go a bit deeper. And this was also a message for Pisces. So you might have Pisces in your chart. It'd be good to look to that, or any 8th house in your chart as well. If you're new to understanding how to read and decipher your birth chart, I offer tarot and astrology analysis. So you can find my website below. And another message that came up for you was the silence in between words. You know how when you're in conversation, and for those that are a bit more restless, this Mars retrograde that you might be sensing, again, water and fire signs are going to be feeling it a bit more, because fire is not as compatible with you, okay? As much as like air and fire, right, might be feeling it, or taking it in a little easier. Let's just say that. What I was getting at though is silence in between words. There's some people, and I've definitely experienced this. It depends on the person you're with, right? It depends on the person you're talking to. And maybe this is why I'm bringing it up. Or who are those people that you can just sit in silence with? And it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel like there's that tension. Like, oh, I got to say something, you know? And who are those people that you feel like you have to keep filling the spaces? You could be observing other people when they're feeling like restless or tension prone or anxiety ridden. If this is within you or around you, right? These are more self-focused, but all the better if you can kind of lean on maybe who this might be talking about. People that, you know, just word vomit. And it could be really kind of feeling like a lot, like I'm getting like sensory overload for you. The 8th house is going to be a time where you just can't resist. It says, don't resist, just sit with it. And maybe that's where the silence is coming in. Just ponder it. Like, oh, that old pain, or oh, that old tension, or like, oh, that old fear of mine, aspects of yourself with the 8th house that you're like, ooh, I didn't realize that was still triggering, or why is that triggering? You know, these types of things. Also revisiting shared resources with the 8th house, because this is inheritance. This is also can be perceived as like passive income, like income outlets. It's similar to the 2nd house, but it's a little bit different. It's more about investments and taxes, debt, that type of thing. You know, we are right around the corner with tax season, so maybe for some of you to be mindful of your taxes, overlook it with Mars retrograde, or wait for Mars to not be retrograde if you can. You know, not all of you can wait till February 23rd. Okay, so I wanted to read briefly in this book, Astrology, Karma, and Transformation for you, of Saturn in the 3rd house. We have another about 6 months left, and then it will go into Aries. Woo. Neptune and Saturn going into Aries. We'll talk more about that as we get into 2025, okay? As Saturn begins to transit the 3rd house, the feeling that many of the practical matters that have long preoccupied attention are now settled enables one to begin putting energy into new learning that will enhance the depths of one's professional background and value of one's ideas. So this is a very creative house, Gemini energy, the magician, right? This period is not usually felt to be as heavy as Saturn's transit of the preceding Earth house, the 2nd house. Although the relative importance of the 3rd house phase depends on whether the person is intellectually oriented or engaged in work that involves communication or travel. There's often a tendency towards pointless worry during this period, and any insecurity about one's opinion or the depth of one's knowledge usually becomes apparent. So it's a lot about like writing methods, communication, conflict resolution. You got going forward as your card. So when I bookmark a book, I just pick one of my cards, and you got going forward. So this is about looking towards the horizon, new opportunities for you, maybe travel, right? 3rd house is a little different than 9th Sag, whereas 3rd house is more short distance travel. Local communities, this could be outreach within your community. This could be again, a study with a close group. You know, the third house is a little bit more about community than like a corporation. So even if you do work for some big corporation, this is you trying to maybe in your free time, if you can, getting to know more people on a personal level, right? Intellectually stimulating conversations. And maybe that's where like that silence comes in. There's something around communication for you where if it's not like intellectually stimulating and it's just like, what's that called? It's small talk. You know, we all gotta do it sometimes, but my God, do I dread that as well. So if you're dreading small talk, I empathize with you. I am not a small talk type of person. If you can tell the stuff that I talk about, I have a ton of Gemini in my chart, so I like stimulating conversations. I like going deep. I like talking about things. That third, eighth house for you, you could be starting to discover new topics, exploring new psychological, you know, topics about mental health, psyche, shadow work. Eighth house is all about that. Ethics, I'm getting. You know, I really like Carl Jung. I don't know if you've heard of him, but you can check out Carl Jung. He's one of my all-time favorites. So much about the dream world and the archetypes. All right, let's see. Capricorn. Capricorn, what do we have for Capricorn? There could be someone that has really stimulated you in a way that is really allowing you to question something. Maybe someone is kind of presenting something to you that you're a little bit baffled, is what I'm hearing. But it's a good type of baffled. You know, you feel like you're like, wow, I kind of want to go deeper into this. You got me curious here. Capricorn. What do we have for Capricorn? Angels, ancestors, guides, ascended masters. Capricorn, please show me. What do we have? Disruption. Conjure. So this is, again, going over plans, investments, shared income, projects with local community. Maybe you and like a friend of yours are starting a business. You could be helping your local community. My God, that incense is going right in my face. I'm going to move this over just a second. It's like really in my face. There we go. I can breathe a little bit better. I love my incense, but sometimes it's just like, woo. So conjure. Conjuring up something. This is very much retrograde for me. It's not about necessarily putting something out, but then you have this going forward. So I feel like there's a path forward, there's a light ahead. And again, retrograde, sometimes people really generalize the theme of retrograde energy as like, don't do anything, don't move, don't breathe. It's like, no, actually life keeps lifing. It's just about, again, the stillness for you, especially, is before you act on anything, just really sit with it. Ponder it. How does it feel? What kind of fears are coming up and why? And also, does it feel intellectually stimulating? Does this feel like something that is really working that brain of yours, is what I'm hearing? What do we want to use? 7-day elemental. All right, let's do this. Capricorn. Let's pull some tarot messages for Capricorn. Okay, your energy feels quite nice, actually, I have to say. I feel like you're really like cleaning space, clearing your schedule, or again, if you feel like you're not doing that, then maybe you should, so you have a clearer path ahead. If there's a lot of disruption, oh yeah, solitude. I knew, I was feeling this for you. You're kind of going into hermit mode early. Next year is the 9 year. It's the Hermit card. We have the Virgo South Node as well, and I'll be talking more about that, so stay tuned. But disruption, if there's things that are disrupting your path forward, give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. You got grace here too, yeah. I'm hearing grace period. You could be giving people a grace period before you finalize anything. That's okay. Yeah, look at that Magician. There we go. There's that Magician energy. Gemini. I got thinking of a master plan. Who was that? Some MC. Any songs that I get, I'll link them below for you. It might motivate you, the lyrics. Capricorn. 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 Capricorn, what do we got for you? Let me get 2 more cards for Capricorn, please. Ancestors, guides, angels, ascended masters. Please show me the truth. When I said truth, I heard tooth. Are you dealing with some tooth issues? For some of you, maybe you need to go get your teeth cleaned. Okay, so we got your major arcana here, the Devil in reverse. So I like to see this Devil in reverse because that means that, again, you are clearing space in this kind of solitude. You're giving people grace, even if maybe they've been manipulative or codependent even, or just kind of toxic. This could also be in communication. You know, people that are scattered, like word vomit, like I was saying earlier. You could be really just trying to also help here with the Hierophant in reverse. This is an unorthodox approach, the way that I'm seeing this, to this kind of devil energy. This is you here. Okay, Devil, Taurus. We got Cancer, 2 of Cups in reverse. I'm going to clarify that before I go further. And then 9 of Wands, Sag. With the World on its side. Get the World on its side there, huh? That reminded me of the polar shifts. I don't know if you've heard about this, the polar shifts. And the 3 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, going back to the drawing board. So I see someone that is negotiating. I see that you could be negotiating contracts with a Hierophant, 2 of Cups. You're going over the fine line. The devil in the details. Is that a saying? Yeah. So, like, you could be calling someone out as well. I'm seeing someone, you know, when they're like, if someone's trying to manipulate you into signing a contract and they make it sound really appealing, you know, the devil, they lay it on thick. This could be in business partnership, any sort of partnership, 2 of Cups. Especially with the Hierophant. This is very much like a contract. This could be a soul contract. And you're like noticing how they're communicating to you, and that's throwing you off. Or again, my guides are trying to relate to you to say, you know, notice someone in their body language. There are certain things you can look up about when people look up or left or right or touching their hair, or, you know, there's different sorts of body language that can dictate lying, being genuine, trustworthy, right? So these are things that you could be really studying right now before you actually sign something or go forward on something, especially in love too. But I'm seeing all across the board for you. Some of you could be disconnecting from a toxic marriage. That's for some of you with this energy here. But something with the World as well, and the 3 of Wands, you know, it's a bit unfinished. And that's that grace period. And that's where guides are like, hey, you know, stand your ground, stand firm. This is also Chiron, and I have that Chiron playlist. Again, Aries through Cancer, if you're unfamiliar with your Chiron, get to know it, because it's going to help you understand the part of your chart that is meant to heal. To understand that maybe there are some triggers that lie within that placement, right? And for some of you, you could have worked through this already. And it's just kind of affirmations. But yeah, I see you really going over a plan. Again, thinking of a master plan. Let's see what else I want to pull from. Wisdom of the Oracle. All right. Why is this Devil in reverse for Capricorn? It's okay to leave things unfinished, I'm seeing. Because you don't want to make a deal with any devil. Or at least try not to, you know. If you do, you know, there's always a way around it if you are coming from good intentions, hopefully. Time for a nap. Yeah, this is all about take a step back. If you notice something just seems off by the way someone's communicating, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have bad intentions, but it's also about, are you operating from your Chiron with the 9 of Wands? I was giving another sign this message. I forget what sign it was. It was Taurus, and we have Taurus showing up here. So you could have Taurus in your chart about telephone. And we were talking about if someone is making a decision or communicating from a wounded place, right? From an unhealed part of their Chiron, or they're taking in information from an unhealed part of self. It can get really messy right there, and there's lessons to learn. There's no judgment here, but it's just something to witness and observe at this time for you, Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, what else do we have for Capricorn? Exchanging gifts. So we have 9, breaks down, 27 breaks down to a 9. Okay. So that is Sag energy. That's that 9 of Wands. So I'm also getting with the 9 of Wands here. It's definitely connected to this 9 of Wands, is to allow people to help you as well. For some of you, you could be really closed off, especially with the Solitude card that came up earlier, from love in general, because you've been burned by toxic people. Toxic relationships, especially if you're coming out of some major contract, marriage for some of you. There is this exchanging, which is also reminding me of that 3rd house influence, is kind of like this stimulating conversation. If you feel like, yeah, imagine in reverse. If you feel like you're kind of in this more pessimistic place, you know, wounded, guarded, defensive, it's okay, you know, especially if you've been through something that was pretty challenging here. But I see that you're overcoming it nonetheless. But there's something about exchanging gifts. There are people around you that have a lot to offer you and to allow help through any sort of challenges. Because I feel like Capricorn can struggle with that. I feel like you and Virgo, definitely. I think all the earth signs to some extent can struggle with receiving help, because they are achievers. You know, earth signs are very stable for the most part. You know, depending on your chart, I can say a lot more, but just be open to other people's ways of thinking. I feel like there's someone that can offer you something. A little tidbit of knowledge. And that's where I was getting earlier with your channeled guidance of someone's going to tell you something, or maybe they already have. And it's kind of leaving you like, wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that from you. In a good way, though. It's something in a good way that's kind of allowing you to drop your guard a bit. Okay? All right, let's see what signs you're dealing with. We're going to take this over to the love reading. I hope to find you over there. If you're still here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's a free way to support me here, and I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. All those links below, you'll find my playlist. I did a full moon in Gemini reading and a Mercury retrograde reading. You can always check back to those readings. Energy is energy. If you were feeling something, especially during that full moon on the December 15th, on December 15th. All right, let's see. Capricorn in love. Venus. Well, Venus was in your sign, so something to think back to. Venus is now in Aquarius. And it will be going into Pisces here. Wow, we're gonna have 3 planets in Pisces here soon. Interesting. We'll talk about it when we get there. And then we're gonna have Pisces North Node too. Wow. Yeah, water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Strong Cancer for you in the Two of Cups. You could have a moon, water sign, or the person you're dealing with could. So Taurus, Libra, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Wow, we're going to be swimming in Pisces energy here. And then it's going to switch to Aries mid-year. So what a polarity there. Whoa. This is just a time for us to really get in touch with our emotions, for sure. Our values, for you, especially with Venus here. All right. Capricorn in love. What else do we have for Capricorn? What other signs are they dealing with? What other signs is Capricorn dealing with in love? Pisces. Yeah, I felt Pisces. I knew it was going to come out. I was saying all that, you know, and I don't want to get too far ahead astrologically, but I am sensing that this Pisces energy is going to impact your love life, especially. Yeah, moon in Pisces again. There it is. And then we also have Uranus, which is currently in Taurus. So that's another Taurus aspect here. Strong Taurus, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Moon can be Cancer as well in Pisces for me. But you or them could have any of these placements in their moon, their Venus, or their Uranus placements, right? This is just energy though, so don't take it too personally, right? I'll see you over at the love reading, but if this is where we part, bye for now, Capricorn. Take care.